Hello, neighbor.
Hi.
Do I have your permission to film this and use the footage?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
And what is your name?
My name is Paul Rowley.
Paul, can you describe yourself in 5 words?
Okay, starting off with this tough question. Let's see. I would say spirited.
Okay.
Spontaneous.
Okay.
A wanderer.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good.
I'd like to say creative. I
allowed.
aspire to creative.
Okay.
I don't know if I get there, but curious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, where do you live and describe your living situation? Who do you live with?
Yes.
All of that.
So I live in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh.
And
You drove a ways.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
It was honestly beautiful. It's Amish country. So, and I live with my boyfriend.
Okay.
His name is Anthony.
Nice.
And we have a cat.
Okay.
And it is an old duplex kind of. America used to build these everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they're on top of each other, and it's just really nice. It has built-ins. We have a dining room that we don't use. We use seldom, but it's very nice to have. And we have a little kitchen, and our friend just gave us a kitchen cart, so
Nice.
we have extra preparations. Counter space. And
Do you rent? Do you own?
we rent. Yeah.
Rent. Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been living there?
That's gonna be, I think, 2 years, just
Okay.
about this year.
And where did you move from, and why did you move there?
Yes. So I used to live in Seattle before I came
Oh,
here.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was loving Seattle very much.
Mhm.
And I decided, my friend, so the backstory is that I met a friend in Americorps. I did an Americorps program.
Okay.
Years and years ago, back when the dinosaurs were still roaming, and how it feels, certainly. And we stayed in touch, and we traveled and, went our separate ways, but we would play video games together, like over the internet and stuff.
Remotely.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I ended up in Seattle, and on an island outside the city called Vashon.
Okay.
And I lived there for like 5 years. And eventually I kind of got to the point where I think in our correspondences, you said something to the effect of like, you got to know when to leave.
Yeah.
And I completely had that moment.
Yep.
Over there when I was just like thinking of like ways that I could stay. And then he said, my friend who lived here in Cleveland was like, why don't you give Ohio a try?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think that's the push that I need to kind
Nice.
of go see a new, because I'd never lived here before at all.
Yeah.
Or I'd never had a Midwest chapter in my life. So,
Nice.
yeah.
What's your favorite thing about living here?
I think I love how like the city and then like Ohio at large are just, they're very different. And
Mhm.
so like my living experience and like the things that I have access to and can do in Cleveland are just completely different than here. And you can just, after like an hour, you're just like surrounded by nature again, and it's very quiet and peaceful. And I just love kind of being able to like throw myself into a whole new place, you
Nice.
know.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
In your world, what does a good life look or feel like?
Oh, that's a good question. I think a good life is, I live on a lot of deadlines, obviously, because I
Right.
write for a newspaper.
Yep.
And
Which newspaper?
Oh, it's called Farm and Dairy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. Oh, he's like, we're playing. Like, yeah, hold on. We took a 5-minute break.
Know where the ball is.
If he was interviewing, he would say that a good life has a lot of tennis balls.
Yes, he would.
I think that a good life, you have a lot of opportunity to like watch something new or read something or like learn something. I think
Okay.
opportunities to learn, like partly why I continue to be a reporter in spite of all the pressures on local journalism and on all of that, is just because I love being able to like learn and acquire knowledge
Nice.
as easily as it comes to you in this
Nice.
profession. And I love being able to talk to new people and like have them tell me about something that I've never even conceived of. And then you go to like parties at New Year's and people tell you like, we had a great fourth quarter this year. And I'm like, that's amazing. I learned
What's
about,
that
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, here's this thing that I learned. Yeah. And so it's just a charmed life if you get to learn as much as I've had the opportunity to. So,
Nice.
yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your life?
Oh, I don't know. I think right now, the biggest challenge, if I had to like narrow it down, I feel like kind of at odds with my, like, I think when I think about like the country that I live in,
Mm-hmm.
I sort of don't know like anymore. I'm just sort of like, do I want to be an American? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I think that is kind of like, I don't know. I feel sort of like this sense of like disgust sometimes
Yeah.
with like some of the rhetoric and some of like the sense that like it's a good thing and it's a virtue if you're really mean in America
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
And like, and it doesn't matter who you are or who you came from, you gotta be cruel and you gotta
Yeah.
go like, you gotta punch down, and that behavior seems to be rewarded, and
Yeah.
like it's everywhere. It's not just like even a certain demographic or a group of people or a one political affiliation, the other, like it's everyone's like
Yeah.
mean right now and being like, and you should be too. And I'm just like, and like
What are you, a loser?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ew, like it's just really like, and I just really struggle with that because I think about like what my future looks like, and
Mhm.
I think that like I've had to already work harder in my life than my parents had to work when they were the
Yeah.
same age, and I'm like, what are we working for? Like,
Right.
oh, this is weird. If I don't want to work that hard to be a part of a group of people whose like ethos is like F everyone else. Like we're just gonna take what's ours.
Yeah.
And like,
And what's yours too.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not, yeah. And you're also, we hate you anyway. And it's just like,
Yeah.
ew. So it's, I feel this sense of like, of like, why would I struggle to belong like in a
Right.
country that's like where like that's where they're headed. But so I would say that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite vegetable?
Favorite vegetable? Honestly, I think I love spinach.
Oh.
I'm like a big spinach guy.
Nice.
My mom dared me when I was a child to get she got spinach pizza, and she was like, "I'll bet you $10 whole that you will not eat this." Which, have ye of little faith, right?
Right?
Like, okay. So as a child, I ate the spinach pizza. And I was like, that was totally fine. I got my $10 and my spinach pizza, and so who was the real winner? You know,
Yeah.
like I took it, the house that night. But yeah, I just I would say
Cooked raw
spinach.
both.
Honestly, I could do both.
Okay.
I do like cooked, I think,
Mhm.
but like if necessary, like I'll absolutely eat spinach just straight from the ground. So,
How do you spend the majority of your time?
majority of my time is definitely spent. I think I work too much.
Okay.
There's a lot of like sitting down in front of a computer and like working there, or like being if I come home from like, because I have a second job. I work as a communications person for a department at Case Western Reserve University.
Wow.
And so I'm very spread thin, like between both
Yeah.
of these positions. And then like I'll get home and just kind of like collapse on the couch for a while.
Yeah.
And then there's like another screen that I'm looking at there, or like on my phone. So I spend, I think, the majority of my time in front of screens, which I'm trying to change because
Okay.
I am like sick of that. And
Yeah.
like I think like I have reached like my content overload. Like
Right.
it's too many Instagram reels where my friends are like, please look at this, like this is very funny, did you see that reel I sent you? And I'm just like, I can't, like I
stop.
can't absorb any more of
What
the
do you
reels.
wish you had more time for?
I think I just it's being outside.
Okay.
I think I need to be outside way
Okay.
more. I think that would do me a lot of favors. We have in Cleveland a wonderful Metro Park system,
Mhm.
and I have explored 1% of them.
Okay.
And so it's my mission this year.
Have you
Like,
found the Butterfly Museum yet?
no, I
Oh,
haven't.
do.
It's a go. It's
Yes,
a go.
it's
Okay.
a go.
Yeah,
It's
a
part of the
stop.
Botanical Museum, which is
Oh, okay.
also a go.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, the Cleveland Museum system is just
Are.
amazing.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
had chances to go to like the Museum of Art, which is fabulous, and then the Natural History Museum.
Oh,
I
nice,
did make
yeah.
a stop there. We went to the Botanical Garden, but we went and there was like a surprise, like 3-hour-long downpour. So we were in the inside component, which was
Yeah.
still very delightful, but there was like the main attraction was outside, and it was
Right.
like we just soaked.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that feels like sort of farm and dairy.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it just I'll make an assignment for myself.
There
and
we
just
go.
So yeah.
What do you believe will happen to you personally when you die?
Oh, I definitely am going to. There's one of two things will happen. Either like I'll be turned into a vampire and like I will just walk the earth for another 1,000 years probably. That's probably not the first most likely thing that will happen, but like it might, like given other events that have happened to me. I'm just like, you never know. Most likely, it'll be like very, very like a couple of people will come together. They'll put me in like a knapsack or something, and then just like dig a little hole and like throw me in and sing a little song, and And yeah, I think it would be very, very quiet, very, pastoral.
Okay.
Yeah, it will just be really, and then people would just be like, cool.
And the you part of you?
The me part of me, I think it will go into all of like the things.
Okay.
Like I had this dream when I was like very, very young, where I think it was a dream, but it was like, hey, like, it's me. Like, you don't know who I am. And if I show you my face, you'll die immediately. So you can't see who I am, but you've done this a gajillion times. You are a very old soul. And then my mom, back when I was growing up, she had a big crystal Reiki phase.
Yeah.
And so she was corresponding with other people who are sensitive as it may. And they were all just like, you are an old soul, which I think is something that adults tell to children who like have kind of been through it.
Yeah.
And who are this sort of like, they're just kind of, they know like, if they have parents that are kind of explosive or kind of, I don't want to say strange, but they're just kind of, okay, yeah, you learned a little bit more than like the average child. So like, you're an old soul. But like, I took it to mean like, oh, they get that like this dream was real that I had, that I'm this like life walker that has been here 400 times or whatever. Nice. So also I could very well just all of my whatever nutrients are left in my body that have not been replaced by like fast food or something like that will go to feed the earth, and then I just come back as like hopefully a corgi, because that seems like it would be a lot of fun.
I think so.
Yeah. So
what's something you know more about than most people?
Let's see, what would I say? I know more about the Washington State tax system probably than more people, because I had to write about it and I took it really seriously at the time. I was covering our park district, and they got, if I can remember correctly, with all of the other competing tax districts that were on our little island community over there, they were pro-rationed or prorated, basically out of existence. They lost their funding because we added a new hospital district to our community. And that, like, there's a totem pole, essentially, of, like, prioritized, like, taxing districts. And Parks was on, like, the bottom. Right. And we added a new taxing district, and then there's a certain, like, I forget exactly how much it is, but out of, like, every dollar, so to speak, like, you can only have like
there's 70, only 100 cents in
there. Something like that.
Yeah.
And so like each one gets like a certain number of those cents, and then Parks just kind of got roped off. So they had to like change the law to allow for like, more of our tax dollars to go towards supporting these different districts. And it was this really interesting thing. And I was like trying to tell people in bars, like, it's really interesting. And people were like, okay, like, but yeah, so I would say that. Maybe.
What's something you've learned recently?
Oh, something I've learned recently. I think I have learned. Oh, okay. So the other day I was tramping through a wetland for another story that I was writing, and I did not know that one wetland indicator species, they're called, what's it called? Skunk leaves or skunk grass or something. And it's kind of like this Shrek green plant that like, it's not really like beautiful at all, but like it is, I love wetlands. I'm a big, like, because they're just so important. And especially as we have like extreme weather and deluges of rain, and then like long drought periods, like all this stuff.
It's good
like
to have a sponge.
Yes, exactly. And then holding on to that. And then plus like if there's like fertilizer or things on fields or chemicals or anything like that, they will run off, and instead of going into like our water table or our, in Ohio for Lake Erie or something, they will collect in these kinds of places instead, which is really cool. And it's like, and so I didn't know that like this kind of pristine wetland that just recently got protected, that I got the chance to walk through, like one of those species that indicate like, oh, this is like a good one, is this skunk grass or skunk. And it was like, and they're just like little clumps of leaves that just like sprung out of the ground everywhere.
And you learned that from another human being?
Yes, I was walking through, and he was like, that's that. I would never even, skunk cabbage, that's what it was. Cabbage. And he was like, that's what it is, it's just the skunk cabbage. And I was like, why is it called that? And he said, oh, it smells really bad if you like take a whiff of it. And I was like, oh, he's like, but it means that the wetland is like pristine and really healthy. And
nice.
It's like, awesome. So that's what I learned.
Do you have access to the healthcare that you want and need, and how not?
I definitely do not. I would love to have more healthcare. When I will say, when like this administration came into like fruition and everything, I was really nervous because I was on an SSRI at the time. And I was like, I don't know if this is gonna like put a target on my back, because RFK Jr. was like talking about sending people on SSRIs to wellness parks.
Yes.
And I was like, maybe I don't want to like do that. So I was like, I'm just gonna go the more like holistic route and
Right.
deal with my problems. But like, so I got off my SSRI, so I could maybe use some help there. But also just like everything is so expensive and the cost of living is so high that I have felt very much like, yeah, I'm gonna not go to the doctor and get an oil change that ends up being like $200 for my car instead, so I can get to where I need to go. So I would definitely like to feel more like I can and should go to the doctor for my own health, but I don't maybe presently. Yeah.
When's the last time you read a whole book?
Okay. So the last time I read a whole book, I'm reading right now, The Stand by Stephen King.
Okay.
I'm halfway through. It's like 800 pages. So like, give me some space, you guys. It's a long, big book. The book that I read before that, I've been on a Stephen King kick, I think. I read The Shining. Oh. And that was really cool. I loved the movie. I saw like the Stanley Kubrick movie, of course, like eons ago, but I don't think I'd ever read the book before. And the book is very different than that movie.
Would you recommend the book?
I would, yes. It's very good.
Nice.
It's different. I think Stanley Kubrick had different ideas of like the story he wanted to tell, and he just used the Shining as like a springboard to do that.
Book better, movie better, just different?
I think they're just different. Okay. I really liked it. I also read Dr. Sleep. That was another Stephen King one. Okay. And that was good too, but the book was not as good as the Dr. Sleep movie. Mike Flanagan is a really good director. Yeah.
Cool. Describe a good person.
Oh, a good person. I think a good person is somebody who like holds, or I just like a lot of humility. I like a lot of humility in a person, a sense of humor. If you have like a good sense of humor that, again, kind of speaking to what I said earlier, like is not rooted in like, let's stomp and tread on people. Right. I really like that a lot. People who have like a lot of interests and want to share some of them with you, like that's kind of a vulnerable thing for people to do. And if they're like, I like this thing, maybe you will also be interested in it, then I'm like on board. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I think that those are all like green flags. You know? Yeah.
What'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a bottle of water. I got up really late, and I was like, I wrote down, I was like, I'm doing this tomorrow, and I was like, I am not doing this tomorrow. So I realized and pivoted, and then was just like jumped in the car. So yeah.
What's your favorite breakfast?
My favorite breakfast. Okay, so there's a little cafe that is near where we live, and they have they rotate their menu every week, and so they never really do the same thing. And they had just a couple of months ago, I was feeling quite sick. I had some kind of viral thing going on, and my boyfriend was like, I know what will fix this, because he had seen on Instagram what their menu was for the day, and it was just a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, which you've had a million times. They're yummy. Okay. And he just brings it to me, and he's like, here you go. And it was a little different looking, but I was like still game to eat it because I was very hungry and famished, and I started eating it, and it was the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich I've ever had in my life. The bread was just like freshly baked. It was like not quite a croissant, but it was something else. I don't know, like brioche or something. So what made it different was there was a hash brown, and then the egg was like not like scrambled or something. It was like, I don't know. It was like there was fluid, and it was just a lot of things going on. It was so fresh. You would think that it would be messy, but somehow it wasn't. Right. And it was just bursting with flavor. And there was like, tears in my eyes. We called them and we were like, this is the best sandwich we've ever had. Like, it was phenomenal.
What's the name of the restaurant?
It's called Minglement. It's really good. It's in Lakewood, Ohio. Highly recommend. It is just so good. Yeah.
So, what do you love here on planet Earth? Something specific. What makes you really happy you're alive here on the planet?
I think I'm really, really happy to be on Earth at this time because of like just finding kind of like things that surprise me that are just like so beautiful and moving, or even just like the hill that my car just got up like a couple of minutes ago to get here. I was like so astonished that like I just did that with such ease because I thought it would be really hard. Yeah. And we just cleared it. And I was like, thank you, 22-year-old station wagon. Like, that's great.
My ponies just did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta say, I was like, like rock star.
Yeah, right. Because you're like, okay, just when you think that like, oh my God, something bad is gonna happen, and it doesn't. So I'm kind of living for those moments where I'm just like pleasantly surprised by like the universe is like, you're good, like you can go,
Yeah.
like proceed. So
Cool.
yeah.
If you got a checklist when you paid your taxes and you
Mm.
could say to the government, these are my top 3 priorities
Yeah.
for what you can spend my part of the money for, what would those 3 things be?
I think I would like to see. So we just in Cleveland, actually, there was a huge layoff in the public school system. So 400 teachers just lost their jobs. They were
Ouch.
not expecting that, and because they did a lot of consolidating and stuff. And
Yeah.
so there were lots of teachers from schools that were not part of their consolidation that lost their jobs, and they were not forewarned that that might happen.
Yeah.
So it did.
At the end of the school year, this is happening,
This
or
happened
just
like
in the middle of right now?
Right, like in April. They were like, oh, by the way, like you're gone now. Like it was like, oh.
Oh.
So very bad. So I would very much like to see at least one of those items, more money for public education.
Right.
That's very important. I'm the product of a public education, and I think that did me some favors. And yeah, so I would really like to see that. I would also, I think, we've got to do something about healthcare. Like
Yeah.
I'm really like nervous about like how I just watched The Pit. Oh, and that's a
okay.
wonderful example. I think The Atlantic actually called it like a portrait of American failure, because you see on like, you know, it's the 4th of July, so a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to the ER that day, and you just see how many people are like kept out of the healthcare system, or like what decisions they're making
Yeah.
because of the dire straits that they're in as a result of that system. And so like if less or fewer people could find themselves kind of put out by just needing healthcare,
Yeah.
I think that would go a long way. So that would definitely be important to me. And then the arts as well. I would
Okay.
really like my tax dollars
Nice.
to continue to support, or if they, I think they do in some respects already, but let's just double, triple that. Like
Okay.
let's make sure that you know, we're supporting the people who are like still, even in these like really hard times, able to create and imagine brighter worlds or different worlds that can help us understand the one we're in, or anything like
Nice.
that. I think we need those people like urgently.
Right.
And I
Sweet.
don't want to see them also like, you know, without. So
What would you not, 3 things you don't want your taxes to pay for?
3 things I don't want. The number 1 is war. I'm really
Okay.
sick of war. I don't want to be doing war things. I do not like supporting war at all. And just paying my taxes this year, I was like, oh, like just please, just like use it for like good things. Even things that like I can't even think of that might be good, and someone can make a case for it. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a good thing, cool.
Yeah.
But like I don't want it to go to war, or like weapons contractors somehow or something, like any sort of like nefarious purpose like that, where
Okay.
like to hurt people. Like I don't want that. I also do not think that my tax dollars should be used, oh I'm sorry, to support like religious education, like
Okay.
vouchers. I don't love that.
Okay.
That has been, I attended Catholic college. It was very not Catholic. If you didn't want to do the Catholic stuff, you were not required to do
Okay.
the Catholic stuff. And that was all fine, but that was like a private university. They were not voucher systems or anything like that. And I say this because like I was very inspired by like their mission, and like they were very social justice minded, and so it was a good school, I think, for me to go to in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm cool with like all of that, and I'm also cool that people like lead very different lives on this planet, and they have very different faith systems, and I think the faith is wonderful and beautiful, but I almost don't know if I trust like the way that like some people are like weaponizing faith to like exclude and to erode and like to kind of manufacture like you know, a citizenry that was not going to know like what they should know.
Right.
And I feel like there's like an effort underway to like make people ignorant and scared, and like and to keep like certain like systems kind of working when we should be dismantling those, and so I don't like that. And so there's more talk of like, yeah, we're going to use public tax dollars to fight. I was like, no, I don't like that.
Right.
So that's number 2. And then I guess number 3, what's a bad thing for my tax dollars? I guess the other thing too is like, I don't want any like vanity projects for billionaires. I'm not, you know, like I don't want to subsidize Elon Musk's like, you know, aspirations to like go to Mars or something like that. Like for science and like the quest for knowledge, I'm all for it. Like going to the moon, taking pictures of the moon, cool, but
Yeah.
like I don't want my tax dollars to subsidize like these people's lifestyles or
Right.
like I don't think that people in our government should be able to buy private jets or something with my tax dollars or
Yeah.
anyone else's. So yeah.
Cool. How many living beings are you responsible for keeping alive?
Oh, definitely myself.
Okay.
So we have varied success with that.
Okay.
And then also currently I have a senior cat
Okay.
who I adopted from the Cleveland APL.
Okay.
And we love him so much, and he has diabetes.
Oh.
So I have to give him, and me and my boyfriend share the responsibility to do this, but we give him insulin twice a day, and he's doing just great.
Nice.
He is very full of life in spite of his advanced age. We thought he was 7. That was what we were told. And then I brought him to our vet, and the veterinarian was like, "Oh, you adopted an ancient being. Like
Okay.
he is very old, and he will probably not be with you for a long time. But you were lied to. They just needed to clear room in the AP." Very cynical view of like what
Yes.
happened. And I was like, this is all fine. Like, because we adopted this cat because his name is my last name, which is Rowley.
Okay.
Because he lived on a street called Rowley Avenue in Cleveland.
Nice.
They were just named him after that. They were like, he was just a friendly stray.
Right.
And he is indeed very friendly and is honestly like the light of our lives.
And I'm glad he got off the street
He
for his
did.
retirement.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
he's living his golden years with a house full of toys.
Nice.
And he watches Bluey on YouTube. And so he's living the life. So
Cool.
yeah.
Do you feel well represented by your politicians? And I want to take that local, state, national.
Yeah. I would say, let's see, locally, kind of.
Okay.
There's a kind of, I would say more or less, I'm satisfied with my local political representation. Like the wards that are, I guess, around me, I feel like they are varied in age and like experience level and perspectives and point of views, and
Okay.
like I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I also feel like I'm living in Cleveland, honestly, as a new person to Cleveland of the last
Yeah.
couple of years. I feel like I'm living in kind of like a golden age of the city because there's development happening everywhere. There's a new park being built at Irish Town Bend, which I get to see every day when I'm riding the train into the city. I really appreciate that.
Mhm.
Like there's lots of things happening in Cleveland that are very exciting and I think good for the well-being of all the people that live there. And I'm sure some of them have been long awaited.
Yeah.
But there's it's a memorial that is going up in the University Circle area.
Mhm.
It's like I forget, but anyway, it's just really cool. Like there's a lot of
Nice.
things finally happening. It's cool.
Nice.
Statewide, that gets a little bit more murky. I would say that like some of the priorities of our current like class of senators,
Mhm.
I wouldn't agree with them
Okay.
necessarily. Like there's been a few times where like Bernie Moreno, I feel like, has put his foot in his mouth a bit.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, Bernie, buddy, I don't know. That's a weird take. But and then like federally, I would not feel very represented
Okay.
now at the moment. I think that we can do better than that. I don't feel like every single politician needs to like, I don't need to be friends with them or
Right.
like they don't need to speak entirely to like my worldview or anything because like they have a lot of constituents.
Right.
And so I'm certainly fine with like debate or like different ideas of
Yeah.
how to do things. I don't think it's easy to solve complicated problems. Like if a politician is promising that they have a magic wand, they're definitely lying to you.
Right.
But I think that some of the priorities of like the federal government make me very like unnerved sometimes when they're like, hey, yeah, we're gonna do this thing, and you're like, why? And you're like, oh my god. Anyway, I would definitely like to see some turnover
Okay.
and some return perhaps to like good government service
Okay.
and government for the people, which is good, instead
Yeah.
of like we shouldn't have that at all. Like we shouldn't have any government. Like no, I'm like, I don't know. So yeah.
What kind of person would you be most excited to vote for?
I think I would be excited to vote for someone who is not 86
There
years
we go.
old
Okay.
Or older. That would
Do you
be.
have an optimal age in mind? Like, what is
Yeah.
a good age range?
I think like between like I would say like mid 30s to like maybe like people are still like whip smart in their 70s.
Mhm.
I'm good with like up to like your maybe mid 70s.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We are going far past that, and that makes me nervous because like I've heard that some of these senators from all over the country, they actually do not know how to operate their smartphones, and so they have their staff do that,
Right.
which is like, I don't know.
up.
I feel like this is now like the primary like means of communication that we all have
Yeah.
and share in this country. You should probably know how to use it, and if you don't, it's maybe an indicator that your time has moved on. You're gonna pass the torch to
Yeah.
somebody. So I would definitely appreciate younger voices. And yeah, that would definitely be, that's a big one,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Is there something in your heart that you really want to do that's like some big impossible dream?
Ooh, I want to walk the entire Appalachian Trail.
Nice. Okay.
That is like something that I've always been like, yeah, I want to do that. That would be like a cool
What's
thing.
the roadblock?
The roadblock is time and money and
Okay.
like being just like, okay, like if I do this, like the whole year is going to be like for this.
Right.
Like it's going to be,
Right.
and this is something that like presently also, like I think I need to do some more work on myself to like be able to do something like that. But I love walking. I would just love to just sort of like take a long like gap year and then just like do that.
Nice.
And like see a whole different part of the country and like slow down.
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool to slow down instead of like every week having like a new crisis to try to like jump the hurdle over. And that would be cool.
Instead,
and then
it's just rocks, roots, and erosion.
right, exactly. so yeah, that would be true.
Cool. What do you feel like the biggest challenge we're facing as a country?
As a country, I think right now the challenge is that we're trying to decide what kind of country we want to be.
Okay.
I feel sort of like that's even amongst debate among people who do probably feel more represented right now, like with the political class that we have currently serving us. They're supposed to be serving us. They're not always serving us, I don't think. But I think like a lot of people remember times where like people used to be decent and they used to be like more generous and benevolent, and we've lost a lot of that.
Yeah.
And that really, I think, deeper, I think even just since like COVID, like people like decided that like there was some merit and virtue in being nasty and being hateful and like waving that banner instead. And I think that there is some more consideration, as we've seen kind of like people evolve and change, like use with that mindset. I think we're starting to see some people going, is this really like the world I want my kids growing up in?
Yeah.
Like we really want to be like this kind of place where that's valued, and I don't. So
Right.
I'm hoping that other people are sort of at least in that kind of doubtful space themselves.
Yeah.
Then you can hopefully move them to be like, no, I think we can do far better. So yeah.
And if you could ask everybody in the country one question, what would it be?
One question I think I would ask people is when was the last time that you took a day for yourself?
Right.
I think that that's a really good thing. I feel like I don't have days so much as I have like maybe a couple of hours for myself. But even that is a sort of like, it feels required. Like it's like, this is really it just feels really special. I have to protect that time that I have. But like, I just sometimes will think back on like when I was younger, like before I was like saddled with student loans and stuff, like I was just like, I had so much free time, and I was just like so nervous about things and like making like a case that for myself to exist in this world and planet. And now that like, I feel like I've done that, I'm sort of just like, God, like there's not a lot that I would want to go back to. Like I don't have dreams or anything of like going back to high school or something, but I would very much love to just feel a sense of like, we're just here for a little while, and like, you can just take today to sort of like, you know, heal your soul. And I think we need more time, all of us individually, to do that than we have.
Cool.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this and would like to tell us in the comments when's the last time you took a day for yourself and what that looked like, we would love to read your answers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Yeah.